everybody, and welcome back to my channel. I am Susan Lynn. I'm a psychic and a medium. Thank you for joining me today. So if you're new here, thank you for being here and welcome. I actually talk to my spirit guides on the daily, and I also talk to them and ask them political questions. So you guys have been so kind as to send in some questions when I request them. And in this video, I endeavor to ask them your questions and to get answers for you. Now, I need to say some things up front, some housekeeping, if you will. These are the spirit guides answering this question. So I am able to channel. I'm a very easy channel, meaning that I can communicate with my spirit guides while I'm talking to you. This is how I actually do my readings. I actually just push my ego brain to the side and allow them to come through. Now, what I'm about to tell you all is what they think is the likely outcome based on the energy around the people we're talking about today. So, of course, some of these questions go way out into the midterms or potentially even next year. Of course, everything is going to change, right? There's only a few times where the guides tell me it is written, which means that basically this is a contract. And one of those times was the two Georgia senators. I'm connected and I can't think of anything. But anyway, they told me from the very beginning, those two men would win. They refused to talk about it. That it was just done. End of story, game over. Okay, same thing with Biden, that he would win. So sometimes it's in someone's karmic contract that they are supposed to be a senator or a president or whatever. And if that's the case, that's the case. In all other situations, humans get to choose. Now, this is part of our school here on Earth. What I often hear my guides say, what will the humans choose? Will we choose peace? Will we choose fairness? Will we choose people over profits? They don't care. Honestly, my guides do not care. Because if we choose profits over people, it just means we have more lessons to learn. Basically, does your teacher care if you flunk out of 5th grade? In the end result, you didn't do the work, and you got a whole lot of D's and F's, and now you're going to have to repeat 5th grade. That's how they are. They're not emotional about this. One kind commenter last time, I do try to do these videos weekly if I can, suggested that my guides were Republicans. Now, I will tell you that Susan, the ego brain part of Susan, didn't take kindly to that. I understand how you guys could get upset at what they say. I can understand that. You come to this channel, I'm going to give you what the guides say. I'm not going to sugarcoat it or tell you what you want to hear because, frankly, I'm not here even to tell you that. I'm literally channeling. So they're going to say what they say. You will catch me on occasion, slow them down or stop them and ask them more questions because Susan is listening. So a part of my consciousness is listening to this right now. And I'm maybe, I don't know, 50-50, 50% them, 50% me. So when Susan hears them say something, that is surprising or even upsetting, sometimes I'll ask them to explain more or something like that. But overall, I'm going to tell you what they tell me, okay? So it doesn't really do much good to complain to them. Believe me, I've tried. It doesn't work. So anyway, didn't work with your 5th grade teacher either. Okay, and my apologies to anybody who failed the 5th grade. I don't know why they're picking on the 5th graders. I don't know. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to start with the questions. No, I'm not. The guides wanted me to say this in the beginning, that this is very important to them. They understand humans' desire to know the outcome. They understand that we need certainty in uncertain times, and they understand that, and they're happy to help. However, they want to get this message across at the beginning of this video in case you don't have a chance to watch the whole thing. The message is, they're showing me that you would be aware that people in Ukraine right now, if you're watching this video later, Ukraine is under attack from Russia, and you would understand that all people in Ukraine that stayed have picked up arms, that they have armed themselves, that they have become part of the defensive army in a sense. Even if they're not in the army, they all have something to arm themselves to fight back, okay? So the guides want to tell you, wherever you're watching this from, and I have a lot of international viewers, and thank you for visiting today. The guides want to say, we are to arm ourselves with the light. We are supposed to arm ourselves with the light. The light is the thing that we need to use going forward. Okay? So hopefully that makes sense. How do you do that? I hear people asking, well, how do we do that? Well, you raise your vibration. There's so many videos that I have on my channel about raising your vibration. But you think good thoughts. You bring the light into your body. You allow good things to come into your body. We've spent too much time looking at the darkness. So I have a Patreon channel, and I was doing a video, and literally this light right here, which I used to light myself up, turned on and became so bright, and I might show it here so that you can see. So it's the same thing. Any of our, holy smokes. Do you guys see that? Did you see my light just come on? This has only happened maybe 5 times in a year. Maybe not, maybe 4 times. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Somebody here just turned this on, just turned this brightly on. I'm not control. I can't even touch it. It's up there. When I was talking about being an empath, I did a video on being an empath and how that affects you and how to use that to your own superpower. And the light literally blinded me. And they were saying, the message was, you are the light. Look at the light. Don't look at the dark. Don't look at the dark. Stop looking at the dark. Look at the light. That's the way forward. Okay, so that's their message. Okay, so now I'm going to get started. And Teresa Teeple says, she says, will it ever be made law that fake or false news can no longer be broadcasted? And that's such a good question, right? Because this is honestly how we've gotten into this problem, is they've weaponized the messages of the media. And they're showing me the Supreme Court nomination hearing in which Cruz and some other people used their questions for Judge Brown Jackson, is it, to basically to get sound bites. I mean, they didn't care what she said. They talked over her. They just needed to get the sound bite out. They will go back and re-edit that, and it will portray her as something that she's not. So even those hearings have got to stop the way they're doing it. What should happen is the justice that's being vetted should be able to say what she wants to say, and then without her even being there, maybe those that will be speaking for and against her get to say what they say separately, and then you take an up-down vote. We've got to stop allowing them to weaponize the narrative. Weaponize the narrative. So yes, the answer is yes. We are going to get there, and I'm going to refer to this a lot during this whole video. It's not a straight line. It's 2 steps up, 1 step back, 3 steps up, 2 steps back. It's frustrating, maybe even maddening, but it is overall, we are moving forward. Okay, we just have to look at the light, right? Look at the gains, look at the wins. Try not to look at the losses, but they are, they have a little bit more to say about that. But basically, yes, that is going to happen. There's a caveat. There's something they're talking about that has to do with, right. Okay. So it has to do with social media. So they were showing me the news broadcasting. So let's just say Fox News. Now they're showing me the Inquirer and how the Inquirer got sued so many times to where they tried, the Inquirer still reported or reports fantastical things, but they got the receipts. You know, they're not going to be sued for libel. So this is where we're going. This is where we're going. We're not going to get there super fast, okay? But we are going that direction. Thank you for your question. Nancy says, and this is kind of goes back to what they were just talking about. Nancy says, this sounds crazy. No, it doesn't. I feel like we're being called to hold space, to be energy conduits, to shush. She says, is it time to stop the noise and let spirit use us? Absolutely. This is exactly what they were saying. Look at the light. Spend some time in meditation. Spend some time in nature, just walking, gardening, being creative, painting, exercising. All of those things that you do in that manner create space for your guides to come through and give you messages. Your guides cannot give you messages if you're constantly thinking, if you're constantly doing. They just can't get in. And then they start waking you up at 3 a.m. and you don't know why. And you start having crazy dreams, and that's the only way they can get in. So yes, absolutely, create some space for them. It will benefit you. It'll benefit you, and then that will benefit your family. That will benefit others around you. But you have to start with you first. Thank you for your question. Christina Ibarra says, will Ukraine get the planes that they desperately need? Yes, Ukraine is going to be getting more things. It's the war changed, right, from a defensive war to an offensive war, meaning that instead of like protecting and just pushing back, now Ukraine is able to go after those territories and cities that were taken from them. So now the types of weapons that they need are different. So they need more offensive weapons, and yes, they will get them. Yeah, they're just showing me like Poland and Slovakia and different countries sort of jockeying and then also working with, you know, like Britain and the United States and different countries trying to make that happen. Everybody is trying to make that happen. I have a lot more on Ukraine. There's a whole thing about Ukraine coming, so hang tight. Because I'm just reading the questions kind of as they came in, or as YouTube gave them to me anyway. Auntie D says, and thank you for your question, Christina. Auntie D says, what was the true intentions of North Korea's missile launch? She really wants this war to stop. I do too, Jamie. Oh no, that's not Jamie. That's Auntie D. Auntie D, I do too, and so do all of us. The real intention is North Korea's on alert. Russia just got their butt handed to them. And all these other countries that are like them, authoritarian countries or whatever you would want to call them, are now on alert because if NATO should get feel powerful, they think that they will come after them. So these countries that have these kind of, what is that word? Paranoid, that have these paranoid, mindsets. That's how they think, because they would attack somebody. If they were all powerful, they would attack people. So they think everybody's going to attack them. So they just shot off the missile to say, hey, we're bad, we're big, don't bother us. They're posturing, saber rattling. I don't see them getting involved. They're not going to get involved. Okay, so Jamie Johnson, thank you for your question, Auntie D. Jamie Johnson says, what do the guides have to tell us about Ukraine? Right, she was the one who said she really wants the war to stop. Okay, so here's the deal with Ukraine, guys. Go back to my first video on whether they would invade Ukraine. Go to the second video about an update on Ukraine, and you will see that the guides said that a likely outcome is a split of Ukraine, east-west style, sort of like Germany did. Remember before when they had the wall and one side was communist or whatever. Now I know last time I said that, people gave me a lot of grief about that. Look, Susan isn't for this either. This is reading the energy. This is what the guides are saying. It gets a little bit worse in my opinion, in Susan's opinion, is that Russia is going to hang on to those areas. Now, I don't think there's going to be a line or a demarcation. But I do think that there's going to be some cities that are going to be held by Russia. Now, this is not 100%. This is more like 80%. This is 80%, pretty high. So there's already some cities down in the eastern border that Russia had even before this newest invasion. Okay, I can't think of their names right now. But Donbass region maybe. So Russia is going to seek to hold those. Okay, so Russian troops are falling back. They want to hold those cities. That's the goal at this point, is to hold those cities. Now, of course, Putin is going to spin this to say that a mission was, the objective was met. Okay, the mission was, he won the mission. That's what he's going to say. Who cares what he says? The thing that I'm a little concerned about, that the guides are showing me, is that this is not acceptable for Zelensky or for Ukrainians. They are feeling their strength right now, and they want to rout them out all of Ukraine. They want all of that territory back that was taken in 2014 or something. I don't know. Anyway, that's what I just saw briefly. But Zelensky's going to want all that back. The Ukrainians are going to want all that back. Here's where it gets dicey. Zelensky cannot do this without the support of the West, without the support of NATO's, armor and weapons, and also the non-NATO countries. They're sending quite a bit of weapons, right? So Zelensky is dependent on getting these supplies and everything. And what I see could happen is that the West, I'm just going to call it the West. I'm just going to put all those countries in one bucket. The West goes to Zelensky and says, look, this has been a hard-fought, bloody war. You guys have lost a lot. Let's cut your losses. Let's let Russia have those territories that they had before. And in return, we'll switch our aid from military to a sustainable type of aid, meaning loans or building, money to build all those buildings back. I mean, the infrastructure. Whole cities are gone. They're gone. So there's going to need to be a lot of money put into infrastructure. And I feel like Zelensky's going to be given a choice, right? Do you want military? Do you want no aid? Or do you want infrastructure aid? And it's really going to make them mad. And I get it. But at some point, those countries are going to want to call it done. They're not going to want Zelensky to continue to poke the Russian bear. So that's where I see there being a problem. But the way the energy stands right now, okay, this is over. It's over, okay? It's not over, but it's over, because the guides show me, the guides are usually 2 weeks to 2 months out. Our energy here on Earth is so slow. And I was just thinking about this morning, like why, when they were explaining this to me, I was just thinking, why is our time and energy so slow? Well, because it gives us a lot of time to think about things. It gives us more reaction time. It gives us a lot of time before we make a decision we might regret. So if our timing matched their time, it would be instant. So we actually have an opportunity to know about this in the future and to choose differently. Okay, so I wanted to just say that this is over in the sense that the Russians will retreat. They will retreat to the Donbass region or to wherever this is on the eastern seaboard, the eastern part of the country. They will literally retreat and they will dig in there. Now, there will be some Russian squads that go in and kind of like terrorize, do terrorist activities, but it won't be a war. I'm telling you, they're going to be planting wheat. Much of Ukraine is going to go back to normal. Normal, there is no normal anymore there, but it's going to be peaceful. Let's use that word. Ukraine will be peaceful. by May 1st. Really in 2 weeks, really very soon, it'll be peaceful. But there's so many other problems, right? There's all these Russians that they've got prisoners of war. I mean, there's so much more that needs to be done. Of course, rebuilding. There's so much that needs to be done. But I do see the Russians retreating and trying to hold that area. There is a 20% chance that Ukraine partners with some country and just goes after them. I mean, the fighting spirit of these Ukrainians is their fire is not out. So they're showing me the fire in their belly, so to speak. Their fire of their just, they're so mad, and rightly so. Their fire is not out, and their fire is not going to be put out just because the West says it should be. So that's kind of the next thing that you're going to be seeing, okay? But peace is coming very soon, very soon. And this is the next question as well. Valeria Chuba says the Russian military command just announced that it never meant to conquer all of Ukraine. Yes, of course it didn't. It's basically the same question. What's going to happen to Mariupol? There's so many things, guys. Those people and kids that they took to Russia, that they've abducted. There's so many things that need to happen. This is what I'm saying. The West is going to say, you have got to stop fighting. It's time to rebuild. You've got to stop fighting. It's time to do this. Go get those people or deal with these POWs that you have. You know, I mean, there's going to be some pressure, but everything is going to. It's ending. It's ending. It's coming to an end. That's what I understand. Wisdom Heart writes, says, what earth changes do you guys see for this year? Volcano eruptions, earthquakes, big storms. Yes, we're going to be seeing lots of major weather in the news, and this is worldwide. Of course, I'm just seeing Australia with some really terrible fires. Of course, Australia has fires. The United States has fires. Even Texas had fires this past couple of weeks. And we don't normally have fires. I see a fire in a city. I don't understand. I see a fire in a city. It's a cosmopolitan city. It's not a sleepy, it's not a wooded city. It looks like a cosmopolitan city. You know what I'm saying to you? I see glass buildings, in other words, you know, more like, I don't know where that is, but I just, yes, we're going to have a lot of weather. I would say, I don't like just saying, oh yeah, there's going to be terrible weather and storms, and then go to the next question. I really like to help people prepare for things. So again, have weather alerts on your phone. Take them seriously. I know 5 years ago, we often didn't take these things seriously. If there was a tornado warning or whatever, or even a fire warning, whatever. We have to take them seriously. Like the very famous video of the young man in the red truck that got caught in a tornado, and his truck just got twirled and twirled around. You know, we need to be more, we need to pay attention and understand that if there's a tornado warning, not to drive. I mean, we have to be the ones. Again, the guides just keep saying this over and over again. It's us. They say to me too, it's you, Susan. We have to take this stuff seriously. So, hi, Christine. Hi from Canada. Hello. The Royals were met with protests in the Caribbean last week. Most or all of the. So you're asking me, will they become republics? Will these countries? Yeah, I mean, yes. The answer is yes. I'm hearing all but a very few. But in the next, you're looking at 3 years. I mean, you're not looking at any time soon. But more and more countries are going to want to become republics. Absolutely. The monarchy is a bit on the decline in general. I don't know how much I want to comment on that. They're showing me Prince Charles not doing very well as a leader. I think that his son would do a better job from what they're showing me. So he may actually kind of not really help the reputation of the monarchy. And perhaps that's why the Queen hasn't stepped down, right? She might know that in her heart of hearts. Okay. And I don't mean anything like scandalous. I mean, he's just kind of stodgy. They're using the word stodgy. He's kind of stuck. He's not forward thinking. He's not in touch with the people. He's not in touch with the citizens. That's what they're telling me. Don't shoot the messenger. Okay. Aideen says, when do I see Thomas leaving? End of spring or summer? Will he use his health as a reason rather than his wife? All right, so we're talking about Justice Thomas here. Of course, in case you've been living under a rock, which sometimes I think is a good idea, you might know that Justice Thomas was in the hospital for a week with getting antibiotics, and nobody said anything. He literally was untouchable, the word they're using. He is untouchable in the hospital. He's sick. I do not think this was a gimmick. I don't think that I don't think he's a gimmick guy. The man doesn't talk. He doesn't even talk on the Supreme Court. He's not a gimmick guy. He would just be quiet. He's not. This isn't a gimmick. I think he's very sick. And I don't think we've been saying this. I've been saying this. The spirits have been saying this for a year that we don't see him around much longer. He's sick. He's not well. I don't know that I want to go into what is going on with him particularly at this time, but just understand that he is, they just said gravely ill. Okay. Whatever he has is not something that you give antibiotics to, unless it was what's that word? I don't know. Sometimes they throw the medical words at me and it went by too fast. Unless it's come on, well, you did it again. Staph infection. Unless it's an infection. Oh. Okay. Well, I had heard last week from the guides that he had COVID. Now, what I just heard now is that he went in for some sort of bizarre symptoms, and he was treated for those symptoms. And when he was there getting a major workup, and I mean a major workup, they found something. Okay, they found something, and they're telling me that it's. I mean, I'm just going to tell you what they're telling me. Okay, they're just saying that it's terminal. Whatever they found, it's like when the doctors look at you and they just say, "There's nothing we can do." Okay, that's what I see happening. I don't see them mounting a front, a resistance, a treatment plan. I don't see any of that happening. And I do know that they are being very quiet about this, and they're going to be quiet about this. And listen, there's a lot of political jockeying on both sides. Why we don't want to have him step down right now. I personally, the guides would rather us have a bigger margin in the Senate before he steps down. Even one more vote. I mean, even, one more Democratic vote. So it's better for us to let this play out a little bit longer and get to the midterms, to be honest with you. Now, is that going to happen? Probably not, because, it's all about our lessons. And so, I think we can have, I'm just going to say this. I think we're going to have some shocking revelations. Really? That's not the words I would have used. Shocking revelations? Shocking revelations. I mean, revelations. Shocking part, I get the shocking part. Revelations? I don't know about revelations. It feels like changes, shocking changes. Shocking revelation. I don't know. I'm going to go with that. I don't know what they're talking about. They're talking about, not, okay, so these people are going to go crazy on YouTube land, so we have to be more specific, because they're going to, revelations, people will have all kind of things going on in their head. Okay, I gotta have to stand by that. I'm gonna have to stand by that. They also just showed me Kavanaugh. I don't know what is going on. They're not showing me a whole picture yet, but they're telling me that there's going to be things happening with the Supreme Court. Multiple things happening to the Supreme Court. Okay, meaning they're showing me boulders coming down. Like a big boulder coming down in the middle of the Supreme Court and causing disruption. Maybe that boulder is like a revelation. Okay, I know. Okay, fine. I'm not going to talk to them about it anymore. They're making a fool of me now, because they won't. Anyway, you guys can. Maybe we'll come back to this next week. Let me ask them this. Is there a timeline? Summer. This summer. Going into like June, July, August. August looks big. And I don't know, maybe I'm in Clarence Thomas's energy. So I'm also the kind of medium that feels things in my body sometimes. If they want to show, so spirits communicate with me in pictures. They give me thoughts. I hear the words of the senses, but also I can feel it in my body. So now I'm feeling really not good in my body. I'm feeling really upset in my lower stomach area, in my abdomen. I'm feeling not good. I'm also feeling a little nauseous. I've got, how your mouth gets a lot of water in your mouth when you feel like you're going to toss your cookies. That's how I'm feeling. Like I've got a lot of extra saliva, and I'm nauseous. I'm nauseous from a treatment. I don't know who this is. I don't think it's Thomas. I'm very sick. I feel anemic. I feel weak. I don't know who that is. It could be, people have talked a lot about Amy Coney Barrett. It could be her. It could be Kavanaugh. It could be, I don't think it's Thomas, but it could be, because of course, if you're a justice of the Supreme Court, they're going to do things for you that are considered above the typical, right? They're going to hero. What did they say? It was sort of like a heroistic plan, meaning we're going to do everything we can, right? So we're not going to just say, oh, there's nothing we can do for you. Of course, you're a Supreme Court justice. We're going to pull all the stops out for you. Oh man, I got to get rid of this stuff. It's really making me, it's making me, how you get hot when you get nauseous? Okay, stop that. They'll stop in a second. When I ask them to stop, they stop. But it does take, sometimes it takes a minute or two for them to stop. Okay. Let me turn the fan up more. Sorry. You may hear the fan, but it's better for you to hear the fan than for you to see me break out in a cold sweat and toss my cookies. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of that energy. Okay. Whew. All right. Wow, that was something. Okay, so now Dorian McDonald, and thank you for your question, Aideen. And Dorian McDonald says, this is a long question. I'm going to probably not answer it in this super long way, but her question is, on a global scale, what is the final straw? The single catalyst event which the countries of the world realize borders are insignificant compared to the whole of humanity. What lights the match that we indeed are all one and will work together for the betterment of all in the planet? It's happening now. It's what the guide said at the beginning of the video. Look to the light. It's like I saw this video of, my stomach is still killing me. I saw this video of this Chechen fighter who was there fighting with Ukraine because some Ukrainians helped fight the Chechen when they needed help. So there is, it's a rebuilding of the borders. So it's not going to take the borders down. The borders are actually going to be stronger. As we go into the next 10 years, the borders get outlined with bigger, fat magic marker. But the willingness to help across the borders gets bigger. So it's not exactly what you said, but we are all recognizing that we're all one. Look at the way Russia attacking Ukraine has brought the world together. This is what we're talking about. This is what Spirit is saying. You're all light workers. Look towards the light. Be the light. Don't look at the dark. Look at the light. The more light you bring into your life, the more light you'll have in your life. Very powerful. That is very, very powerful. And there's really nothing to be afraid of if you're living in the light, right? So there's just nothing that can bother you if you're surrounded by the light. So, okay. This question is from someone in France, I would assume, since it's in French. The question isn't, but the name is, and I can't say your name. So I apologize. There is the word, the histories of something. Magistrate? I don't know what that is, but thank you for your question. And thank you that your question is in English. Will Ukraine ever forgive the West for not intervening militarily? The Ukraine is in a tough spot, like the guides talked about earlier. The West is going to get even worse because the West is going to say, you've got to stop fighting. You have to rebuild. And I think, honestly, Ukrainians know that. I mean, they need to rebuild. I mean, my God, they need to take care of their people. They've got all of these people that are refugees, and they have to have a place for them to come home to. So Ukraine is going to forgive us, but the question is, the spirit guides are saying, will they ever trust us? That's an even bigger deal. I don't know that they'll ever truly trust us. And this is why that question above about the boundaries of the countries. Ukraine is going, and I've said this in the other videos about Ukraine, Ukraine is going to become a very, I don't know how to describe it, big country, a very a powerful country. They want to become a respected country. They want to be respected the way Poland is respected. Okay, so that's their goal, and that's what's going to happen. I see this happening. I see Ukraine being rebuilt. I see them like a phoenix coming out of the ashes. This is something the guides have said since day one, that they would be pulverized. They said this from day one, but they would come back. So I see Ukraine just growing like beautiful flowers, the sunflowers growing out of the rubble. Ukraine is going to be fine. It's Russia. It's Russia that's really going to be paying this price going forward, and really, really paying a price. Thorny Turtle Ranch, the Thorny Turtle Ranch says, right, so she's saying, or he's saying, or the turtle is saying, I've absolutely got to get my guides to tell me the extent of the Russian aggression of this whole April 4th nuclear war, nuclear missile issue. I have never seen it. Let me ask again. I've been asked this question a lot. There are some readers that say that some April 4th that we're going to have nuclear war. I don't think it's war. I think perhaps, I just heard the word Putin, and I could perhaps attacking Chernobyl, or it's not a war. Okay, it's just not a war. It could be that he fires off a nuclear missile. If you go back to my last Ukraine video, in which it's not questions, it's just the guides talking about Ukraine. They talked about Plan B. Okay, so one option is that Russia falls back and creates this segregated Ukraine, if you will. Another option is that Russia goes too far, and Poland and NATO and possibly non-NATO countries put the smackdown on him. Russia is not as powerful as you guys think. Even if they shot a nuclear warhead, we would take it down before it even left Russian airspace. If they shot a missile at Poland, they would be biting off way more than they want. And I feel like when I go into Putin's energy, now I did want to talk about this, and I didn't know if this was a question, but Putin is just now learning the truth of what his military is, of what his commanders are, of what his military is capable of at this time. He's just now, today, putting the pieces together because it's in the best interest of you living for him not to know. Okay, so he's just now figuring this out. So what I feel like, when I go into his energy, until today, he has been a madman. He's been a madman. He has not been the cool, calm, collected KGB officer, political, astute political thug that he always has been. He's always been cool, calm, and collected. He never let his emotions get the best of him. Never. That's why he's still alive. He was always cool and calculating. Well, the last 2 weeks, his emotions have gotten the best of him, and he's been a madman. He's been a terror. He's been a terror. So now today, with the cold, hard truth, the cold, hard reality of his real situation, he now knows who is going to help him and who's not. He knows what money he can get, what money he can't. He knows what his military is capable of. He knows now. And now, given the cold, hard truth of that, he's starting to ramp down his maniacal energy, and he's starting to become the ruthless, cold, calculating guy that he's always been. So for him, now you might say, and I agree with you, that this isn't necessarily a good thing. I mean, it's a different kind of bad, right? The maniacal guy, but the maniacal guy is the guy who would push the button. Now, the reason why I don't see ever nuclear bombs landing on the United States. I don't see nuclear bombs landing in Europe per se, because there's another layer of entities, whatever you want to call them, that will not let us push the button on the big bomb. The big bomb, the Hiroshima bomb, the big bomb will disrupt not only our Earth, but will shockwave throughout many galaxies. So it's not allowed. It's just not allowed. Now we're allowed to kill each other and to maim each other and to destroy each other in all kinds of ways, and also to destroy Mother Gaia to a large degree. But we're not allowed to throw one of those big bombs. Okay, so that's off the table. It's not even up for discussion according to the guides. Now, will he send some sort of nuclear arsenal missile? Maybe. It's not going to be a big one. It's going to be terrible, but it's not going to be the end of the world. It's just not. So, two plans. He segregates Ukraine, or he does something stupid and he bombs Warsaw or something. If either one, he's out. The man is out. I'm not worried about it. The guides are not worried about it. You guys should know, I tell you the truth. If I think something really terrible is going to happen, I tell you the truth. Is it going to be, it could be some sort of radioactive event but it's localized, okay? It's localized. Now, I want to say this because this wasn't part of the question, but this is something I talked to them about this morning. Let's say that Putin segregates Ukraine and he tells everybody he's won, and then he pulls his energy and his forces back within Russia, and he starts trying to, further develop those relations of the people that have been supporting him. And I just saw Macron in France, and and then the other people. I mean, I'm not saying Macron is supporting him, but I'm saying Macron is the one who still calls him on the phone and tries to talk sense into him. So of course Putin is going to try, to, hey buddy, what can we do together? Of course Putin is going to use that. Any opportunity he has. So as he does that, the thing that I see him doing, the cool, calculating, ruthless thug, what I see him doing is attacking us. His specialty is attacking you without any fingerprints. That's his specialty. He's going to attack different countries and he's going to blame it on ISIS. Heck, he'll even pay ISIS. But it's going to be him. So when I say attack, I mean attack our grid, that kind of thing. I mean, it's bad, but it's not like a warhead. So hopefully that made sense. I don't know. Karen, and thank you for your question. And sorry, Flora wanted to know what is his ex-wives and girlfriend think of him. What I wanted to talk about was his daughter. His daughter, he's got 2 daughters from his ex-wife. His daughter is, she does medical. She's a doctor, but she does medical. She wanted to create a medical center in Russia that would rival one of the best medical centers in Europe. And her goal was to get the Saudis to come there for medical care. And she married a guy who's Danish, I think. And so they've been raising money for that, and they've been getting backers. And what I've heard, and I haven't double checked this, but what I've heard is that their marriage was dissolved, like annulled. I don't even understand. So anyway, she's feeling it. She's feeling the heat too. His kids will feel the heat. I'm seeing him go into strategic mode. So he's not the maniacal screaming guy. He's into strategic mode. He's going to be counting his friends right now. He needs to know who he can count on. He needs to figure out how to turn this around, how to get his own money. Of course, the West is still buying oil from him. He's still selling things. He's still making money on us. And so when Anonymous announced that they were going to break into Putin's bank and give us all this information, well, really, is it going to do anything? Because what we know now is that Germany, has even more money going into Russia than we thought. So now it's on us. The onus is on us, other countries. And it's on you and me to write to our leaders and say, we want out. We don't want to support this bloodthirsty person. Okay, so it's going to be interesting how it goes forward. Karen Murray wants to know about Prime Minister Boris Johnson. He was in a big mess before the invasion started, and now it seems he's best friends with Zelensky. Is he using Zelensky for deflection? Absolutely, he's using everything he can for deflection. Boris is in over his head. He doesn't think quickly on his feet. He's pretty, they're showing me someone who's heavy on their feet, slow to react, plotting, like boom, boom, boom. Instead of Zelensky is almost like a ballet dancer. He zips over here, he zips over there. Zelensky is able to react quickly. He responds quickly. And Boris Johnson is a trudger. They're calling him a trudger. And he's out. I mean, he's out. They've said this before, that this is going to buy him time, but the British people don't like him, don't respect him, and he's out. He's going to be out. In meaning that when he comes up for re-election, he will not win. They're showing me something with him. There might be more bombshells because all the things that's happening in the United States with January 6th Commission, the anonymous, just troves of documents that have been unleashed through there, that the net goes so wide that it could snag people, like Johnson, or it could snag people that it's not intended to snag them. That's what they want to say. It's not intended. They're not targeted, but because the net is so wide, it just sort of grabs people, whoever happened to do something they shouldn't have done. Jen Bing, and thank you for your question, Karen. Jen Bing, thank you for your question, says, will Biden finally get the recognition he deserves? Absolutely. This is some really good news. So if you're still watching at this point, Biden is on fire. I don't think he's going to suffer any downside to the things that he has said repeatedly about Putin, being a butcher, a war criminal, whatever, all those things that Biden has said. There's no downsides to that. That is, Biden is speaking his truth, and it's recognizable as such to the American people. It looks and it is authentic. The White House has come out and said that was not scripted. It shows that he's authentic. It shows that he's mad. It shows that he's got fight, that he's got resolve. It shows that he feels the way we do. Our leader is saying the same things that majority of Americans are saying, be they red or blue. So this is going to come out to really help him. Plus, I don't know if anybody's asked this question, but I'll go into it briefly, which is the economists are talking about Anyway, they're talking about our economy being stagnant, let's just call it that. And it has to do with inflation. It's when inflation keeps going and then you have something that happens after that the guides were like, we're reading questions. What are you talking about? But recession, thank you, recession. I don't see it. I don't see us going into a recession, and I'm going to tell you why. And listen, the guides have said things not so pleasant about Biden. I mean, listen, they are an equal opportunity. They just tell you what it is. They just give you the medicine, okay? But in this case, Biden is doing an amazing job. And the Fed is doing an amazing job. They're really doing a good job of bringing this economy, which is just on fire. Jobless rate is so low. I think it's never been lower since the 70s. This is all stuff, of course, the news should be talking about, but nobody can ever say anything good about the Democrats. But I don't see it going into a recession. I think Biden is going to pull this off, and I think he's going to look he's going to look like Zelensky. He's going to look like an amazing president. And I think that come this summer and fall, I think Biden is going to even look more and more like a presidential leader. Not saying he doesn't now, but I'm saying that he's winning hearts and minds. He's winning hearts and minds. And he's doing so in a very authentic way. And you add into that that Putin is not going to be able to do so much of his attacks on our social media, so many psyops on our social media. That's going to kind of stop a little bit. And then you add all the Jan 6 and all of that. Biden is just going to look really good. He's doing great. I mean, really great. And I didn't see that a month ago. So this is how the energy can change. But I see this going forward. I see this all the way through September. Thank you for your question. Alocat says, will Alvin Braggs get removed from office? My God. So I don't know if anybody asked this question, but Alvin Bragg's, you guys asked me about this last week, I think. Compromat. They played us. Vance stepped down. I have questions about that. I think that Vance stepped down because he saw the writing on the wall. He knew that he wasn't going to be able to bring this. He wasn't going to be able to bring this prosecution all the way to a courtroom. And so he stepped down, and the powers that be, meaning the Republican Party, knew that the Democrats would be all in for Alvin Bragg, so they even helped Alvin Bragg get in. And Alvin Bragg is compromised. He's compromised. I've said it before. He's compromised. So will he get removed from office? Removed? I don't think so. Maybe. They're saying he will. That's good news. That's good news. But listen, guys. Remember the previous video or the last 3 videos? There's 100 archers with 100 arrows. 100 archers, 100 arrows. Everybody shoots their arrow. 5 hit Trump. 3 take him down. We're going to see 95 misses. We're going to see 95 failures of justice. But it doesn't mean justice fails. There's still going to be 3 that are going to take him down, and he's going to go down. He's going to go down. He's not going to be Speaker of the House. I don't have words for how silly that is, except for maybe they're calling it baloney. And he's never going to be president. So just take that to the bank, okay? Okay, so Monique says in New Brunswick, Canada, okay, some people have developed a mysterious brain disease. This is political. Some people have died. Highly anticipated report from the government investigating the validity of the neurological syndrome of unknown cause has found that no such illness exists, like currently exists. They don't know what it is. And that was before they asked the federal government to not get involved. The government also stopped communication with the affected families. My question, has the provincial government discovered the cause and are covering it up? And can the cause be environmental? And if so, could it be caused by nuclear power plants? Okay, so is the government covering it up? Yes. Can it be caused by environmental? Yes. Is it nuclear power plants? No, it's not nuclear. It's, they just kept saying, I don't know that they're being, I think maybe this is a metaphor, but they say amoeba. So I feel like this is environmental. I do think the government is covering it up. I do think that I'm getting water, that it's in water. It has something to do with water. Maybe the water that they're drinking, but also the water, the source of the water. The water has been compromised in a way by, it's not directly, like if you looked at this water, you wouldn't see a cause and effect, a direct cause and effect. You wouldn't see a smelter pouring poison into the water. But it is getting in there. Now, whether it's a smelter, I don't know. That's what came out of my mouth. So maybe it is. Also seeing like a paper mill, something like that. Now, why isn't an amoeba if we're talking about chemicals? Because the content of the water gets changed. I'm seeing algae. I'm seeing some kind of organic thing that may be feeding on, let's say, the proteins from whatever is being, do you understand what I'm saying? So whatever's going into the water is changing the chemical makeup of the water, causing too many proteins, which has caused this, okay? So the government is covering it up in the sense that, not in the sense that they know that John Doe is doing this. They're covering it up because they don't understand it. And so, because they don't understand it, this is what all governments do. When they don't understand something, they just close the case. They just close the case and pretend like it's not happening. So, and to understand it, I think somebody in the government is putting it together. Somebody in the government is saying, uh-oh, this has to do with this multinational company, and we can't go up against them. Okay? I hope that makes sense. I don't know what to tell you about that other than maybe the question should be, will this be uncovered? I feel like it will be uncovered. Brunswick? Did you say Brunswick? Yeah, Brunswick. I feel like it will be uncovered. It's a lot like Flint, Michigan water, right? Like everybody knew about it. Nobody did anything about it. It's a lot harder to go against these big companies than anybody thinks. It really is. And we are the people we've been waiting for. So when humans all get together and say, we're not buying that product or we're protesting, you can put pressure on them and you can change things. You absolutely can. Hopefully that helps, dear Monique. Look to the light. Send them light. Joanne Hall says, oops, nope, that's actually a private, not a political question. Sorry, we're just doing political questions today. Okay, so Marika, I know I'm going to get your last name wrong. It's Swedish, I believe. Farnstrom. I can't do it. I'm so sorry. Please accept my apologies for butchering your name. Some Swedish politics. Okay. So they want to know, thank you for watching from Sweden. Will we have a new election this year? Does it look like the racist Nazi party will gain even more power, even be the ruling party? No. I hear no. Yeah, I hear no. They're not going to be the ruling party. It looks like they're gaining power. The looks of it, the optics, on the surface. On the surface, it looks like they're gaining power. Yeah, I don't see them gaining power. I don't see them being in power. In power. And she says, has this war had a negative impact on the support of racist Nazi parties in general? Has the Ukraine war brought some, light to that? What does the future look like for the racist Nazi parties all over Europe? Well, we know they've been on the rise. Authoritarianism has been on the rise. No, I don't see it. I see that this Ukrainian war has brought us together. And I see that it's made us courageous. They just showed me that the Ukrainian war, we see, these pictures of these Ukrainians, and I'm talking about old people, young people, women, men, doesn't matter. They're all out there with guns. And it's made us all courageous. It's made us, and you know what else they're showing me actually is unarmed people protesting in those Russian-held Ukrainian cities with the big Ukrainian flag, or even just standing in front of the tanks. We've all seen those pictures. It's made all of us feel like we can do it. If they can do it, we can do it. It's going, I think they said this. Didn't they say that? They're telling me they've said this before. They've talked about the Arab Spring and how everybody protested. This is going to be sort of a worldwide spring of people protesting against lockdowns, against authoritarianism, against corruption. Forget even just Nazi, but just corruption. It's going, there's not any, there, and here they're showing me Boris Johnson again. There's no, people don't have the stomach for the corruption anymore. So yes, that's good. I think that's good. I hope that all made sense. Thank you for your question. Thank you for watching from Sweden. Lindsay said, why did Putin say he has to go? Putin has to go in Polish speech. Oh, I see. Why did Biden say that Putin has to go in the Polish speech that he did? She says it seems edgy and it hints at regime change. Yes, I've already talked about this. It is edgy. Biden is a Scorpio. He's a statesman until you really make him mad. I've said this the whole time about Biden. The guides have said this the whole time. If you make him mad, you're going to get a knuckle sandwich. He's a statesman, but only to a point. Biden, they have pissed Biden off. And Biden is not in charge of the United States in the sense that we're not going to go in there and do a regime change. You know what I mean? I mean, Biden still believes in democracy, and he still believes in all of us having a say in these things. So I don't see Biden doing that. I don't see Biden sending in SEAL Team 6 or something like that. I don't see that. But I see Biden wanting to do more things to make Putin very uncomfortable. Biden is not done yet. He will have more sanctions. He will put more screws to Putin. I'm not worried about, I know that some of you guys are, but Spirit is not worried about Biden or nuclear war or any of those things. We are on the downhill slide of this mess. Peace is going to prevail, and rebuilding will start. And this Christmas in Ukraine is going to be a very special Christmas. Starfish says, when will Lindsey Graham be outed as a liar and hypocrite, be disgraced, and have to leave office? You know, it's interesting, right? He's already been a liar. He's already been proven to be a liar. We have video of him saying, if I say this and I'm proven wrong, call me a liar. Well, we can do that. That check. Hypocrite, check. Disgraced, check. He's still in office. This is the thing. This is the new platform of the Republican Party. We don't ever have to leave. It's the same thing with it. It probably all started with Justice Thomas and Anita Hill. You know, it wasn't me. Fake news. I didn't do it, and I'm not going to own up to it. And therefore, I'm going to get elected anyway. And this has been what the Republicans have done in the past. If you've been egg on your face or you've been disgraced, you step down. They're just not doing it so much anymore. I don't expect the Republicans to come together and start policing their own members. Now, when will Lindsey Graham be outed? When will he finally be gone? Will he be outed? Will he be removed? Wow. They're showing me some stuff. He just takes a beating, you guys. He takes a beating. I mean, I see these things coming out. I see these videos, these pictures. They're about, you know, they're scandalous. I see a video of him being very drunk. I mean, he appeared to be allegedly drunk in the hearing for Ketanji Brown Jackson. Did he step down? Did anybody call for his, resignation? Did anybody call him disrespectful? I mean, it's just mind-blowing, right? So I see these videos coming out, and I see him not stepping down. I mean, I hate to say this, but that's what I see. So let's change your question, okay? Let's change your question. It's all about how you ask the question. Now, let's ask the question, will Lindsey Graham be caught up in a criminal? Will Lindsey Graham be caught up in a criminal charge? Or will Lindsey Graham be charged with a criminal charge? Criminal. I mean, we have to be very precise. They're not going to step down just because they should. I mean, this wouldn't even be allowed on a school board, So, but here we are. And until we start holding them accountable, this is what we're going to get. We are the people we've been waiting for. Is he going to get caught up in a criminal? He might get out of it. So another thing I need to tell you guys is, remember, there's 95 criminal charges or 95 opportunities to get Trump that absolutely should stick, and they don't. So we have to get used to seeing these people get out of criminal charges that they shouldn't be able to get out of. We're going to see that. We're just going to see that. You've seen it with Bragg sending the evidence back against Trump. Oh, we're not prosecuting him. Take your evidence back and shred it, right? We've already seen that. So, I just heard them say he will stay. Makes me really mad. All right, I'm going to move on so I can keep my connection to them, because when I get emotional, I lose my connection. And we're running really long on this. I might have to just, we only have like 3 questions left. I'm going to talk faster. Let's see. MBQ201 says, when do the indictments start happening for all the former Guy people? I'm getting a few months from now, maybe even not that long. Yes, I agree. NBQ201, thank you for your question. I agree with you. It's coming. It's coming fast. It's coming in 2 months. This is March 27th. You're looking at May. You're looking at June. You're looking at May, June. Now you have to understand. I want to say one thing to you guys. If you're still watching, more gold medals. Imagine if they lock Trump up and put him in handcuffs. What do you think? If you live in a red state, what do you think is going to happen? What do you think you're going to see? Mayhem. You're going to see all those bubbas out there with their AKs doing their parades and rallies and shooting them. I mean, you're going to see a response. So Biden and the DOJ and Garland and everybody, the states, everybody's taking that into account. They have to take this into account. They have to have everything in place. They have to know that these groups have been muzzled. And that's why the guide said a month ago and more that they're going after these groups first. They're going after the leaders of these groups first. And they're incapacitating them, putting them in jail, leaving them in jail, not giving them, a way to post bail, because we need to try to keep everything as calm as possible. So that's what's happening. They're trying to keep the lid on the pot, as they always said. The pot is boiling over and he's trying to keep the lid on it, because if it just blows up, it's the same thing with the economy. If he keeps the lid on the pot, the economy can start simmering down and get back to a normal, something that looks more normal. It's the same thing with these prosecutions. If he can just keep the lid on the pot, then maybe he can let the whole thing kind of happen in a much more controlled manner. Stephanie, and thank you for your question. Stephanie Turner says, can I look at housing with Fed increasing interest rates? This is part of what they were talking about earlier, as far as the economy and the recession goes. I don't see, with the Fed increasing interest rates, and I know the Fed is increasing interest rates, and they said this was going to happen. My guide said this was going to happen. They talked about this in December. But it seems to be warranted. I don't think the interest rates cause a recession. I think they're masterful. I can't believe I'm saying it, because I haven't always been so pro, or the guides haven't always been so pro, the administration in some ways, but it seems to be masterful. It seems to be the right amount at the right time. And the guides would be very surprised, to the degree that if something changes with the economy, I will be on here telling you that something has changed in the energy of the economy, and we all need to pay attention. Right now, it looks really good. Really good. Amazing. Like Biden is going to go down as a hero and more. Seriously. Okay. Black Dragon Jazz, thank you for your comment, Black Dragon Jazz. How will we recover from all the damage being done both in the inside and outside of the country? Well, we have to look at the light. We recover because we stop looking at all the dark and we start looking at all the light. And you know what they were telling me? They were telling me about, there's always a shadow. Okay, so the sun, the light, always casts a shadow. We're not ever going to not have a shadow. We're always going to have a shadow. So they were telling me, this was what they were talking to me about, 4 o'clock in the morning. When the sun is low on the horizon, it casts a really long shadow. When you stand at sunrise, your shadow is much, much bigger and longer than you are. When the sun is straight overhead, your shadow is at its smallest. So when you bring the sun, when you bring the light straight over your head, when you bring the light, how surprisingly, into your crown chakra, into your body, when the light is straight overhead, your shadow is at its smallest. So when we bring the light into our lives, that's how we're going to get over this. That's how we're going to reduce the shadow. I hope that makes sense. What we are going to recover, it's up to us. How fast we recover is up to us. If we don't learn these lessons, we're going to repeat them. What was our lesson from Trump? Okay, so we learned, we got in Biden. What is our lesson from Russia attacking Ukraine? What is our lesson of having for-profit health care? What is our lesson of letting our government side with big business over us, over humans? The more we learn our lessons, the faster we stand up, the faster we say, we are of the light, we demand that you be of the light too. The faster we stand up for each other, protect each other, support each other. Even though I might not be going through what you're going through, I'm going to go help you in some way. The faster we'll get through these lessons. But it's up to us. It's not written yet that it's not written that the next presidential election won't be a Trump-like figure. It's not written yet. It's not written yet that we're guaranteed to gain seats in the House and the Senate. There's work to be done. We must do the work. Thank you. Let's do 2 more questions. Okay, really quickly. Carol Chandler, thank you for your message. Will Representative Tim Ryan, who's a Democrat, win the Senate race for Ohio? I'm hearing yes. I see him. I see him winning. Will Representative Kevin McCarthy be voted out? Possibly not. He could be. We have to fight hard. There's an opportunity for him to go. Okay? There's an opportunity for him to go. But it's not a given. There's work to be done. We have to hold him accountable. They're saying there's like some what's that word? What is the word? Scandal. Although, they don't see it as a scandal, right? This is the whole problem. But there's something that we can hold him to account. We must, with the narrative, we have to continue to bring it up. For all of these races, we have to continue to bring up the problem. We can't just let it go out of the news cycle. We can't give them a pass, is what they're saying, okay? We have to hold them to account. Lise, Anthony, how are you doing? Thank you for your question. Will we experience nuclear fallout? I've already answered this. I don't see it. And John Reynolds wants to know, and Lise is in Canada. I don't see Canada experiencing nuclear fallout. I don't see the United States. I just don't see it. So John Reynolds says his inner voice said that in September is when the political mess will come to an end. I agree. It starts in May. June, July. I said earlier something big happens in August. And that is right around September. Absolutely. Expect some bombshells, meaning revelations. They want to talk about revelations again. Last question, Jennifer Portis says, or Portis, I'm so sorry if I'm pronouncing y'all's names wrong. Who might be Biden's next Supreme Court pick? Of course, we're all thinking that he might get another pick. She says, is it a man, woman? what white, brown, black, what is it? I feel like it's going to be a woman. I feel like Biden wants another woman on the Supreme Court. And I do feel like it may be a Hispanic judge, or I'm also getting a lot of Asian, some sort of Asian energy as well. But I do know that he wants it to be a woman. You have to understand, he's not really, when we say he gets the pick, it's really a matter of their qualifications. And, Biden is a horse trader. I mean, you don't get to be in the Senate for your whole life and not be a horse trader. He's very much, if I pick your person, will you vote on these things for me, right? I mean, given everything else being equal, meaning their qualifications, then he's going to see which justice would be to his administration's use, would help him further his own agenda. So that's what he's going to be thinking. So anyway, that's our last question. Thank you guys so much. I'm going to end this very quickly because I apologize for it going on so long. I really, really, really appreciate you guys watching, especially if you've watched all the way to the end or listened to me all the way to the end. I just want to tell you how important you guys are to me and how much you're in my heart. I just appreciate you so very much. I really hope that you take good care, that you do some nice things for yourself, that you're able to look to the light as much as you can. Know that we're all loved and guided, and that everything is going to be okay. We're coming to the end of some really harrowing times. We will still have some rocks in the road, but overall, we have made it. We've made it. And we just need to take it easy. Take it easy and ride the energy to the end of the summer. Take good care. We'll talk soon, right here. For entertainment purposes only.